Good afternoon, everyone. Please be seated. So nice to see everyone. I'm Jane Carrero. I am the Vice President for Health Affairs and the Dean of the College of Osteopathic Medicine. And we're here this afternoon to honor the graduates and to bear witness to their hooding and oath-taking. These are the final steps in their long journey towards becoming physicians. I'd like to extend an especially warm welcome to the family members of the graduates, many of whom have traveled long distances to join us today. We're very glad to have you celebrating this momentous occasion with us. Thank you. Doctors, you guys. Sounds good, doesn't it? Woo! I ask you to take a moment to look around. You're surrounded by people who support you. Everyone here is filled with happiness and joy. They're so happy to share this moment with you. Everyone, please join me in congratulating the 42nd class of the University of New England College of Osteopathic Medicine. Thank you. We have some honored guests with us today here on the platform to celebrate the graduates' achievements. Here on the stage with me are James Herbert, PhD, President of the University of New England, Dr. Craig Boisvert, Unicom Class of '82 and former Vice President for Academic Affairs and Dean of the West Virginia School of Osteopathic Medicine. We have Board of Trustees members Dave Anderson, Fran Girard, Rob Leonard, Steve Shannon, and student trustee Ethan Kennedy, as well as Jody Herman-Dio, from Unicom 06, President-elect of the Maine Osteopathic Association and President of the Unicom Alumni Association. Thank you for joining us. Earlier today, the university awarded 170 Doctor of Osteopathic Medicine degrees to members of our class of 2023. Since the creation of the College of Osteopathic Medicine in 1978, our medical school has graduated over 4,000 osteopathic physicians, one of whom is yours truly. We're very proud of the impact our graduates have had and continue to have in the state of Maine, New England, and across the nation. And wherever our graduates go, they remain part of our Unicom family. Members of the class of 23, you completed your graduation requirements under the most extreme circumstances the U.S. healthcare system has ever experienced. Your matriculation included learning how to coexist with a global explosion of a previously unknown virus, the overwhelming of local, regional, and national healthcare systems, the spotlighting of healthcare disparities and the mental health care needs of providers. And if that doesn't demonstrate resiliency, I don't know what does. You have accomplished much, and we all look forward to celebrating your future successes. But doctors, you did not travel this journey alone. There have been many along the way who have supported and guided you and deserve your gratitude. Would the parents of the graduates please stand and be recognized? Thank you. And remember, moms and dads, the graduates are now getting paid so they can pay for dinner. There is another group of people that we need to acknowledge. These are the folks who spent nights alone while you slogged through modules, and Dr. Willard's modules with that horrible, right, what do you call it, classical music, weekends creeping around quietly while you studied for boards, and mornings making the bed while you trotted off for rounds. Would the graduates' partners, husbands, wives, and significant others please stand? Thank you. And a word of advice for you folks, there's an 80-hour rule, and that means there's plenty of time for laundry. Would the children of the graduates please stand? Thank you. Yeah, come on. Yeah. Great. Thank you for your patience. Mom and Dad are so grateful that you've taken the time and been patient with them, and personally, I hope to see you walk across this stage someday. An institution of higher education is only as good as its faculty and professional staff, and it is really my distinct honor to work with a group of exceptional and committed individuals. I'd like to ask all the faculty and professional staff of Unicom to please stand and be recognized. Please join me. It is now my pleasure to introduce Dr. James Herbert, President of the University of New England.
Good afternoon, everyone. Good afternoon, doctors. It is my distinct pleasure to welcome you all to the University of New England's College of Osteopathic Medicine's 2023 graduation ceremony. Today, we mark a very special achievement in the lives of our graduates, and it is our great joy to honor them, to honor you. Graduates, over the past 4 years, I've had the pleasure of observing you hard at work on and around our campuses, and I can say with confidence that your employers, co-workers, and most importantly, your patients will be lucky to have you at their sides. With the 4 years of rigorous study and training in which you have engaged, you've demonstrated your commitment to providing a level of care that goes beyond treating an illness or healing an injury. You've shown your readiness to meet the full needs of your patients in their entirety as human beings. At UNE, we have emphasized the importance of patient-centered care, of treating the whole patient, and of promoting health as opposed to merely treating disease, all central tenets of the osteopathic approach. We've also endeavored to instill in you a love of learning, a keen sense of perpetual curiosity, and a devotion to lifelong learning. By constantly refreshing your knowledge and skills, you will always approach your patients with the richest possible arsenal of tools at your disposal as a healer. The father of osteopathy, Andrew Taylor Still, once said, "We look at the body and health as meaning perfection and harmony, not in one part, but in the whole." By committing yourselves to being the type of practitioners Dr. Still envisioned, individuals who look at their patients in their entirety and strive to maximize the whole of their being, you will distinguish yourself from many of your peers in the profession. Your patients will see the difference in your approach, and their lives will benefit. Your coworkers will notice too, and some of your willingness to look beyond the illness or disease will surely rub off on them. You soon will head off into your residencies, committed to supporting the health of your fellow human beings at a time when your skills are greatly needed. As the U.S. and world emerge from the coronavirus pandemic, many of you will head into workplaces facing critical staffing shortages. Now, more than ever, our world needs your energy, expertise, optimism, and care. And I'm sure you are ready to provide all of that and more. And so today, we celebrate your accomplishments as students and mark your transition into the field. This is a big milestone in your life. As such, I encourage you to take a momentary pause to look around the room at your classmates who've been your study partners and friends, at your professors who have guided you in your learning, up towards your loved ones who've helped make your immersion in our program possible, and finally, look inward and reflect on the obstacles you've had to overcome to reach this point. Reflect as well on the small and large successes you've enjoyed along the path that has landed you here at this moment. So go ahead, take a deep breath, take a mental picture, appreciate those who've been at your side and in your corner. Feel the satisfaction you should feel for having completed your studies. Feel the pride we all share in your accomplishment. Take a moment. You did it. Thank you all for heeding this noble calling. The work you do gets at the heart of UNE's mission to educate students to support the health of the world, its communities, and its peoples. Please accept my heartfelt congratulations as well as my admiration. I wish you well and look forward to seeing you back on campus as alumni. Thank you.
Thank you, President Herbert. It's now my pleasure to present this year's Pioneer of Osteopathic Medicine Award. The Pioneer of Osteopathic Medicine Award is bestowed upon special individuals who exemplify the tireless dedication and bold pioneering spirit of the profession's founder, Andrew Taylor Still. Specifically, the award recognizes extraordinary service to the University of New England College of Osteopathic Medicine and our profession. This is the highest honor given by the college. This year, the Pioneer of Osteopathic Medicine Award is being given to the members of our college's first class, the class of 1982, who were pioneers of medical education, the first medical school in Maine, and the osteopathic medicine in Maine, the first osteopathic medical school in New England as well. You have all heard the story of UNICOM's founding, a group of osteopathic physicians recognizing the impending physician shortage in Maine and New England, remortgaged their homes and cashed in their life insurance policies to start UNE in 1978. Imagine having only been out of your residency 5 or 6 years and turning around to your partner and saying you were going to remortgage your house to start a medical school. That's what these folks did. As they were signing over their life savings to establish what was then NECOM, the New England College of Osteopathic Medicine, they must have heard a silent whisper, if you build it, they will come. And they did come. But how many times have you heard about the leap of faith that 36 students took to show up on a fledgling medical school campus that first day of class? To show up at a medical school that had never taught a single medical student, to an osteopathic medical school that did not have the reputation of being the #1 provider of physicians in Maine, that wasn't nationally recognized for leadership in primary care, rural medicine, geriatric health care, and osteopathic medicine, to a place that had not yet granted a single degree, and this morning I heard to a place yet that hadn't finished building the classrooms, so they were in folding chairs. Those 36 students went on to be leaders in their communities, change leaders in healthcare systems, military leaders, medical directors of hospitals in New England and across the nation, presidents of professional societies, faculty and deans of other medical schools. But in 1978, they were not any of those things. They were pioneers who believed in UNICOM's mission and believed in themselves. That's the key to being a pioneer, believing in yourself. They took a chance on a small and, at the time, not yet prestigious school on the mouth of the Saco River that would go on to yield numerous healthcare providers and physician leaders. But it all started with that first group of student pioneers, and the rest of us stand on their shoulders. So today, we would like to recognize the members of the class of 1982 for their pioneering spirit in paving the way for the over 4,000 Unicom alumni who have followed in their tracks. Congratulations to the members of the class of 1988. Accepting the honor on behalf of the class is Dr. Craig Boisvert. Dr. Boisvert. I want to introduce you. Is that okay? Dr. Boisvert was former Dean of the West Virginia School of Osteopathic Medicine and Vice President of Health Affairs, and I'm so glad that he can join us today.
Thank you. It's indeed an honor to have our class presented with the Pioneer of Osteopathic Medicine Award. It was 41 years ago this June that we walked across this stage and graduated. Times were certainly different 45 years ago in September when we started our journey. The last of the 50 states had finally allowed DOs to have full practice rights in 1974, just 4 years before we began. Many hospitals still had restrictions, such as requiring an ACGME residency so that you could practice there, and prevented DOs from being on staff. Except where there were osteopathic hospitals or osteopathic physician practices, most people had no idea what a DO was or what they could do. Being from Vermont, I remember looking up the names and locations of the DOs in Vermont so I could visit some practices before I applied to the school. At the time, there were less than a dozen DOs in the state, and some of those were not in active practice. Even MDs had little knowledge about the osteopathic profession. I remember my grandfather told his MD physician that I was going to be attending a DO school. And he suggested I return back to school after receiving my DO degree and get an MD degree so I could practice at a hospital. It must have been extremely difficult for Dr. Larry Newth, who arranged all our rotations, to find us locations to rotate each month. We all did 3 months at the osteopathic hospital here in Portland and in Cranston, Rhode Island. But every other month was quite an adventure. I think it was December when Jeff Davis and I rotated at a small hospital in Vermont. We slept in the attic above the DO's office. The heat was turned down low in the office at night, so when we woke up in the morning, we could see our breath. There was a toilet and sink downstairs, but we had to walk up the hill to the hospital to be able to shower. 3 days before one rotation, I remember Dr. Newth calling me and telling me my next rotation would be in Queens, New York, but he hadn't arranged for housing yet. However, the hospital came through, found us a space upstairs in the house they used for an educational building next door to the hospital. And that was the pattern each month, waiting to hear where we'd be off to next. Sometimes we had to find our own housing, sometimes it was provided. For the most part, we rotated with DO physicians, but we were exposed to other providers at the site. I remember doing a rotation with a DO neurologist at a university hospital. I was able to round with him and his attached MD students and residents on service, but then as they scattered to work up their patients and start their day, I was not allowed to stay. I would go to a small hospital 15 minutes away, and I'd work up my attending's consult patients, where he would then join with me and we would round on those. And then we would join him and I would join him in his office with the MD students that were on his service, and we'd see patients. That was their first experience with a DO student. Luckily, I held my own, and we were quizzed by our attending physician. By the end of the rotation, the MD students and residents were taking me down after rounds to review patient labs and x-rays and talk about rounding patients. Our class opened doors at facilities. We broke down barriers that have been present for DO students. We educated those we saw, patients and providers, as to what a DO could do. This made it easier for those that followed. During our 4th year, we began to look at internships and residencies. There were only a few slots in the osteopathic hospitals in New England, and we couldn't expect them to just take students from our class. Some of us entered allopathic programs in or near New England. Most of us scattered to osteopathic programs across the country. You're probably aware that most physicians end up practicing near where they did their residency. So I find it amazing that at least a third of our class made it back to or stayed in New England after our postgraduate experience. A good number of our class went through school on military or National Health Service Corps scholarships, and as such has had obligations to fulfill after residency. I remember attempting to be assigned to New England to fulfill my public health obligation. At the time, many physicians finishing their residency in the country were from New England, but most of the NHSC sites were not. I remember interviewing in Concord, New Hampshire for a practice site. They had 30 applicants. 15 interviewed on the phone. They brought 3 of us back for an in-person final interview. I thought it had gone well, but they were a little hesitant about me performing OMT on patients, and the slot went to an MD. I interviewed at a 20-bed hospital in Vermont. Again, I thought the interview had gone well, but I received a letter a few weeks later thanking me for the interview, but they had decided to go with a physician rather than an optometrist. I forwarded the letter to the regional PHS office. They apologized and assured me the site would receive education on the profession. I mention this again to point out the lack of knowledge, not only of the general public, but other health professionals when it came to DOs. In the end, I was assigned to Arkansas. A couple of my classmates were in Oklahoma. I know one being assigned to the Upper Peninsula of Michigan, one to Florida, one to West Virginia, but at least one or more were assigned to Maine. I have the greatest respect for those in my class that were able to break through the barriers here in New England, open practices, and open the doors for those that followed. I know several became active in their state societies and the AOA and served as mentors for those that followed. I mentioned before that when I started school, there were less than a dozen physicians actively practicing in Vermont. At least 4 of my classmates returned to Vermont, thereby increasing that number by a third. Today, according to the Vermont State Boards, there are 132 active DOs in the state. Thanks mainly to this school, the average New England state has increased its DO population by a third in just the last 10 years. The University of New England has produced nearly 4,100 DOs, and 50% of those graduated practice either in New England or New York or New Jersey. Half of those practice in profession shortage areas and 24% in medically underserved areas. Regionally, 21% of UNE grads practice in rural areas compared to only 9% of MD grads. UNE-COM is the #1 provider of physicians to the people of Maine, with 2 to 3 times as many graduates practicing in every Maine health care system and major hospital than any other medical school. 67% of UNE-COM graduates in Maine practice in primary care specialties, family practice, internal medicine, pediatrics, OB-GYN, compared to 32% of grads from other medical schools. And 34% of UNE-COM grads practice in rural areas. And in fact, I find very interesting is that each year between 37 and 53% of the UNE grads that return to Maine practice in rural areas where they did their third-year rotations. Those of you with offices in Maine that precept students should be very proud of those numbers. To my classmates, I congratulate you on this award and can't express how grateful I am to have gone through this educational experience with you. To this year's graduates, I wish you the best as you continue with your careers, and please remember you represent all of us who have come before you and all of those that will follow. Thank you.
That's the award. Thank you. That's the Pioneer of Osteopathic Medicine Award. It's a compass, and it shows the campus on it. It points to the campus.
Thank you.
But the compass works too. Now, may I be the first person to ask Dr. Bianca Thakar, president of the Unicom class of 2023, to come to the podium to speak as a representative of the class. Doctor?
Okay, thank you. Thank you so much. Greetings, faculty, family, friends, loved ones. Thank you so much for making this day so special for us by being here. Today, as we stand here on the inauguration of our future as medical professionals, it is with immense pride and gratitude that I address you all as the class president. I am humbled by the opportunity to represent such a talented and remarkable group of individuals who have dedicated years and years of their life to learn the compassion, knowledge, and support of healing their patients. It is impossible to describe the feeling of accomplishment, appreciation, and satisfaction in reaching the summit of graduating as a physician today. We will no longer be referred to as student doctor, but as doctor. We will no longer question our ability to reach this point in our lives. Our family and friends will continue to come to us with their medical problems and questions, but we'll feel a little bit more authorized to give them advice. We've officially finished 4 years of the good, the bad, and the ugly. The good being celebrating our small victories at Champs or in Portland and doing karaoke with one another, studying on the beach, and finishing our last CMAP ever. The bad being, well, entering a pandemic and sending our world into a whirlwind. And the ugly, our sweaty scrubs after a PQ day on a Monday, or the bags under our eyes by the end of a block week. Despite all these things, one thing has remained constant within our class over the last 4 years. The support and camaraderie for one another has been unmatched. From sharing notes and study guides to serving as one another's patients late into the night before a CSA on block week. We've been there for each other through it all. As we all know, the road to medical school and beyond is not an easy one. There are 3 requirements that all medical students need before going into medical school. 1, being passion. 2, being professionalism. And 3, confidence, with some level of underlying fear and self-doubt. There's no question that every single one of us has questioned ourselves or doubted ourselves at one point before medical school or during medical school. But behind that doubt is an army of family, friends, and loved ones that supported us and continued to push us forward. Our families, friends, mentors, and faculty have been responsible for this monumental role throughout our journey, including college, the MCAT, didactics, our board exams, clerkship, and now residency. Every single individual sitting in this auditorium today, student or not, has something to feel accomplished for today. When I say it takes a village to accomplish this feat, I don't say that lightly. I have to especially thank my supportive parents today, my brother Tim and sister-in-law Leah, my partner Sunny, and my best friend Kavita, who have been my village. Thank you all so much. Thank you to my supportive fellow Vice President Jacob Dollins, who's been through it for me through it all. And thank you to the Unicom faculty, advisors, clinical staff, and leadership who allowed us this opportunity to join this admirable community and have dedicated years of their lives to educate and mold the minds of students like us to make a difference. Thank you to each of our villages that are seated here today that have brought us here today. We would not have made it out here without you. And let's just take a moment to get a round of applause for everyone. Today, as we reflect upon our years in medical school, we can't help but recognize the incredible privilege and responsibility that lies ahead. We are about to embark on a noble profession that demands our commitment, integrity, and compassion. I have to emphasize the word privilege. Each of us has chosen a path that will enable us to touch the lives of others in profound and meaningful ways. We will be respected members of community that will play an important role in influencing and impacting others. But with this privilege comes great challenges. Medicine is a constantly evolving field, and we must be lifelong learners, adapt to new technologies, treatments, and research. We will encounter patients from all walks of life, each with unique stories, struggles, and hopes. We'll face complex cases, ethical dilemmas, and moments of heartbreak. And amidst all this, we must remember to care for ourselves, to cultivate resilience, and to find balance in our lives. As I said, today we have reached the summit of becoming a physician. From this day forward, we will reach for new aspirations or summits and continue to climb and improve upon our strengths and weaknesses, striving to become the best versions of ourselves every single day. I'm filled with hope and confidence that in our ability to create a brighter and healthier future. But for now, today, congratulations to my fellow graduates, COM class of 2023. We did it!
Thank you. That was fabulous. At this time, I would like to ask Associate Dean Bonacore to please come to the lectern to read the names of the candidates to receive the hood for the Doctor of Osteopathic Medicine. Will the faculty marshals please escort the candidates to the stage? Is it okay if that stays there?
All right, I think we're ready. Bryce Adams, hooded by Kiran Mangalam, DO 04. Preetha Agarwal, hooded by Kathleen Becker, PhD. Alyssa Joan Ahern, hooded by Kristen Ahern, JD. Hannah Elizabeth Acre, hooded by Elizabeth Sugarbaker, MD. Justin T. Ali, hooded by Kiran Mangalam, DO 04. Lee Anderson, hooded by Hawaida Arafat, MD, PhD. Elizabeth Lucy Bainbridge, hooded by Emma D. Bainbridge, MD. Keenan C. Baptista, hooded by Kathleen Becker, PhD. Martha Bear, hooded by Daniel Gibbons, DO, 2008. Melissa C. Beinlich, hooded by Kiran Mangalam, DO 04. Rachel Anna Bengart, hooded by Joseph Bengart, MD. Nicole Jean Berteau, hooded by Robert Grimm, DDS. Well done. Bhumi Bhutakani, hooded by Danielle Allen, DO 2022. Abby Lee Blake, hooded by Kevin Burke, JD. Charlotte Elizabeth Bloom, hooded by Catherine Hannafy, DO 2004. David Alexander Bogdan, hooded by Kathleen Becker, PhD. Samuel K. Booth, hooded by Karen Mangalam, DO 2004. Caitlin Olivia Brew, hooded by Marilyn Gallucci, PhD. Cole E. Brownstein, hooded by Mark Schenke, PhD. Margaret E. Calamari, hooded by Kinley Farm D. Robert Eugene Carrier, hooded by Kathleen Becker, PhD. Emily Karen Cathy, hooded by Catherine Richardson, JD. Catherine Taylor Cawley, hooded by Robert Cawley, DO, 1988. Jeffrey Michael Chamberlain, hooded by John K. Chamberlain, MD. Stephen Kin Yip Chang, hooded by Karen Mangalam, DO, 2004. Samira Chipada, hooded by Hawaida Arafat, MD, PhD. Stephen Robert Chaffee, hooded by Karen Mangalam, DO, 2004. Erin Elizabeth Clark, hooded by Kathleen Becker, PhD. Shayla Lee Clark, hooded by Marilyn Gallucci, PhD. Zachary Stone Clark, hooded by Sean Clark, PhD. Mary L. Connolly, hooded by Kieran Mangalam, DO, 2004. Kaylee Ann Corrado, hooded by Frank Willard, Ph.D. Dominic J. Corsetto, hooded by Kathleen Becker, Ph.D. Kevin James Counterman, hooded by Natalie Paolino, DO 2004. Alexis Kelsey Dame, hooded by Kieran Mangalam, DO 2004. Lakin Ray Dammer, hooded by Kathleen Becker, Ph.D. Stephanie Avalar de Carvalho, hooded by Kin Lee, PharmD. Jacob Scott Dolans, hooded by Kieran Mangalam, DO 2004. Celeste L. Eastwood, hooded by Cassandra Bodek, MD. Cody Eccles, hooded by Kathleen Becker, Ph.D. Andrew James Egan, hooded by Kieran Mangalam, DO 2004. Michael J. Falcone, hooded by Kathleen Becker, Ph.D. Kathy Fadovich, hooded by Kieran Mangalam, DO 2004. David Fay, hooded by Kathleen Becker, Ph.D. Colin Fisher, hooded by Kieran Mangalam, DO 2004. Jessica Marie Franco, hooded by Michael J. Franco, MD. Catherine Fry, hooded by Stephen Fry, DVM. Samuel Michael Frickenberg, hooded by Sarah Andrew, MD. Mary Alyssa Garside, hooded by Barry Garside, EDD. Connie Greg L. Garsuda, hooded by Kathleen Becker, PhD. Emily Ann George, hooded by Kieran Mangalam, DO 2004. Brandon Gibson, hooded by Marilyn Galucci, PhD. Shelby Nicole Geese, hooded by Mark Geese, DO. Abigail Marie Gomo, hooded by Marilyn Galucci, PhD. Daniel Chamberlain Good, hooded by Kathleen Becker, PhD. Alexander Goslin, hooded by Mark Goslin, DO, 1990. Heather Jacobs Graybo, hooded by Anne Burley Jacobs, PhD. Ian Graff, hooded by Kieran Mangalam, DO 2004. Michelle Lee Guyette, hooded by Kathleen Becker, PhD. Adrian Francis Hale, hooded by Marilyn Gallucci, Ph.D. Bryant Hall, hooded by Alex Nimby, D.O. Samuel Charles Hanlon, hooded by Marilyn Gallucci, Ph.D. Emily Rose Hargis, hooded by Kiran Mangalam, D.O. 2004. Benjamin Harris, hooded by Frank Daly, Ph.D. Kenley Aaron Hebel, hooded by Glenn Hebel, M.D. Riley Grace Haru, hooded by Anna McLean, D.O. 2022. Julia Maeve Hickey, hooded by Meredith Norris, D.O. Jane Farnsworth Higley, hooded by Kathleen Becker, Ph.D. Erin Price Hiddesdorf, hooded by Michael Hiddesdorf, Ph.D. Amy Elizabeth Hockman, hooded by Allison Hockman, D.O. 2018. Laura Horowitz, hooded by Kiran Mangalam, D.O. 2004. Kinza Jawad Hussain, hooded by Humayun Khan, M.D. Zinat Navid Hussein, hooded by Nu Runisha Ibrahim, MD. Radwa Ibrahim, hooded by Cheryl Doan, D.O. Cassandra Marie Izzo, hooded by Nicholas Mariello, J.D. Tiana A. Jayanathan, hooded by C.R. Jayanathan, M.D. Elizabeth A. Jello, hooded by Kathleen Becker, Ph.D. Avni S. Johnson, hooded by Sudhir Rao, M.D. Joshua Austin Johnson, hooded by Kiran Mangalam, D.O., 2004. Rollin William Johnson, hooded by Penny Johnson, Ph.D. Govind Singh Kamboji, hooded by Kathleen Becker, Ph.D. Sarah Haley Cannell, hooded by Brian Cannell, MBA. Kristen M. Kelleher, hooded by Eileen Plunkett, Ph.D. Casey John A. Keys, hooded by Kiran Mangalam Dio, 2004. Kristen Ann Kircher, hooded by Catherine Becker, PhD. Emily Eileen Klein, hooded by Lawrence Bohannon, MD. Kelsey Jean Klingel, hooded by Cynthia Amoroso, EDS. Natalie Jane Coons, hooded by Madison Coons, PharmD. Brian Patrick Kunkel, hooded by John Kunkel, DO, 2016. Chun Lam, hooded by Karen Mangalam, DO, 2004. Anna Parmit Lanu, hooded by Hawaida Arafat, MD, PhD. Caitlin Renee Lavarnway, hooded by Alyssa Dwyer, JD. Cami Michelle LeBlanc, hooded by Bridget Dargis, MD. Andrew W.F. Lee, hooded by James C. Ferretti, D.O. Jessica Lim, hooded by Brian Kang, MD. Amy Lin, hooded by Ken Tian Tran, DPT. Jia Ning Liu, hooded by Feng Liu, PhD. Joseph M. Lomoody, hooded by Gregory G. Lomoody, PhD. Mariana Lubrano Lavadera, hooded by Kathleen Becker, PhD. Hugh Patrick Mullaney, hooded by Kiran Mangalam, DO 2004. Arjun S. Mann, hooded by Selma Holden, MD. Samantha Ann Mansberger, hooded by Jamie Mansberger, DO. Abdullah Mayan, hooded by Hawaida Arafat, MD, PhD. Tyler Seth McBride, hooded by Sung Un Chi, MD. Annie Isabel McGregor, hooded by Hawaida Arafat, MD, PhD. Madison Taylor McInnes, hooded by Christopher Frothingham, DO 2001. Chris P. McMahon, hooded by Hawaida Arafat, MD, PhD. Michael James McNaughton, hooded by Hawaida Arafat, MD, PhD. Jamie N.H. McFedrin, hooded by Kathleen Becker, PhD. Renata D. Meckel, hooded by Lorraine Paradis, DO, 1987. Daniel Minuhin, hooded by Olga Minuhin. Matthew A. Morrow, hooded by Paul Morrow, Sr., JD. Andrew W. Mosier, hooded by Joshua Morrison, DO, 2009. Colton Wayne Mulher, hooded by Eric H. Sharp, DO. Alexandra G. Nelson, hooded by Mark Nelson, DO. Savannah Amy Leanne Nelson, hooded by Christopher Frothingham, DO, 2001. Ivy D. No, hooded by Mariel Nauman, PhD. Twin N. Nguyen, hooded by Kin Lee Farmd. Delaney Ray Norris, hooded by Kieran Mangalam, DO, 2004. Kylie Ann Nygren, hooded by James Cook, DO, 2021. Whitman Ollermarks, hooded by Therese Ollermarks, OTD. Brian David Olson, hooded by Natalie Maida, D.O. 2009. Alex Lee Otto, hooded by Kathleen Becker, Ph.D. Benjamin D. Packard, hooded by Kieran Mangalam, D.O., 2004. Hannah Y. Park, hooded by Kristen Mitchell, D.O., 2007. David Pastuna Kraus, hooded by Kathleen Becker, Ph.D. Trushti J. Patel, hooded by Varun J. Patel, Farm D. Sean Elizabeth Patterson, hooded by Kieran Mangalam, D.O., 2004. Crystal C. Pierce, hooded by Frank Willard, Ph.D. Kelsey Priscille Pelletier, hooded by Hank Sims, M.D. Roman Pettigrew, hooded by Kathleen Becker, Ph.D. Alexa Nicole Pfeiffer, hooded by Catherine Hannafy, D.O., 2004. Elise Rose Quinn, hooded by Kieran Mangalam, D.O., 2004. Cassandra A. Ryman, hooded by Benjamin Harrison, Ph.D. Therese Louise Renault, hooded by Lorraine Paradis, D.O., 1987. Christina Elizabeth Rizzo, hooded by Salvatore Rizzo Jr., D.O. Cameron Ruth Rumpf, hooded by Aaron Rumpf, DPT. Dylan Michael Rossi, hooded by Frank Willard, Ph.D. Nicholas Taylor Ryan, hooded by Kathleen Becker, Ph.D. Nicholas Sarsha, hooded by Karen Mangalam, D.O., 2004. Megan L. Scantlebury, hooded by Ethan Collins, D.O., 2022. Rakshana Salvarajan, hooded by Doug Spicer, Ph.D. Emily Fountain Sirio, hooded by Kathleen Becker, Ph.D. Harim Siddiqui, hooded by Farouk Khan, M.D. Sydney Hope Smilin, hooded by Nancy A. Moriaber, Ph.D. Leah Neal Steinberg, hooded by Pamela Brug, M.D. Annetta Strumiwowska, hooded by Kiran Mangalam, D.O., 2004. Bisher Sultan, hooded by Kathleen Becker, Ph.D. George Tarabelsi, hooded by Hawaida A. Arafat, M.D. Maria Elena N. Tierzy, hooded by Karen Mangalam Dio, 2004. Michaela L. Testa, hooded by Kathleen Becker, Ph.D. Dan Tai, hooded by Christopher Frothingham, D.O., 2001. Bianca Atul Takar, hooded by Neha Takar, DNP. Ananya Thiravidi, hooded by Kiran Mangalam Dio, 2004. Ariel Trachtenberg Harrington, hooded by Kyle McLee, Ph.D. Dacian Serig Tuladura, hooded by Hawaida Arafat, MD, PhD. Feng Mi Vuong, hooded by Kathleen Becker, PhD. Henry Folks Weatherly, Jr., hooded by Hawaida Arafat, MD, PhD. Nicole M. Weissman, hooded by Karen Mangalam, Dio, 2004. Travis Robert Wheeler, hooded by Rebecca Wade, Psi D. Olivia Wilkins, hooded by Marilyn Gallucci, Ph.D. Cassidy Nicole Williams, hooded by Kathleen Becker, Ph.D. Jennifer Winters, hooded by Marilyn Gallucci, Ph.D. Sherry Yan, hooded by Peter Yan, M.D. Allison Davina Yunkin, hooded by Keith Felstead, D.O. Bianca Dorothy Zarella, hooded by Kieran Mangalam, D.O., 2004.
At this time, I would like to ask Dr. Jody Herman, class of 2006, president of the Maine Osteopathic Association and president of the Unicom Alumni Association, to please come forward to administer the osteopathic oath.
Thank you, Dr. Carrero. It's a pleasure being here. Congratulations to all of you in reaching this point. Halfway there? No. Just saying. Okay. It is now my honor and privilege to administer the osteopathic oath. The pledging of the osteopathic oath is a time-honored tradition that binds your word and your actions to our profession, and has been sworn by all doctors of osteopathy who precede you. I ask that you please recite the oath along with me. Doctors, please stand. Raise your right hand and repeat after me. I do by, oh, I'm sorry, don't repeat that. I do hereby affirm my loyalty to the profession I am about to enter. I will be mindful always of my great responsibility. To preserve the health and life of my patients. To retain their confidence and respect. Both as a physician and a friend. Who will guard their secrets with scrupulous honor and fidelity. To perform faithfully my professional duties. To employ only those recognized methods of treatments consistent with good judgment and with my skill and ability. Keeping in mind always nature's laws and the body's inherent capacity for recovery. I will be ever vigilant in aiding the general welfare of the community, sustaining its laws and institutions, not engaging in those practices which will in any way bring shame or discredit upon myself or my profession. I will give no drugs for deadly purposes to any person, though it be asked of me. I will endeavor to work in accord with my colleagues in a spirit of progressive cooperation, and never by word or act cast imputations upon them or their rightful practices. I will look with respect and esteem upon all of those who have taught me my art. To my college I will be loyal and strive always for its best interests and for the interests of the students who will come after me. I will be ever alert to further the application of basic biologic truths to the healing arts and to develop the principles of osteopathy, which were first enunciated by Andrew Taylor Still. In the presence of this gathering, I bind myself to my oath.
Thank you, Dr. Herman. Doctors, I hereby confer upon you all the rights, privileges, and responsibilities herein bestowed as a doctor of osteopathic medicine. May I present the physicians of the class of 2023. Okay. Thank you. I want to offer my personal congratulations and a little advice to each of the graduates while I'm pausing and just peddling time here to find out whether or not it's still raining outside. Okay, and whether or not we've got a reception. Okay. No, seriously, guys. This is a momentous achievement. It really is. But as Dr. Herman hinted, you're not finished. The process of becoming a physician has really just begun. Over the last 4 years, you have faced challenges and difficulties that stretched and tested you. But you didn't break, and that's because you're resilient. As you go forward, there will be greater challenges and harsher realities and more difficulties. There will be. But remember, you are resilient, and any situation that you find yourself in only has the power of negativity that you give it. Choose to only give your power to that which is positive, supportive, compassionate, and promotes growth. If you can help your patients to learn that same lesson, you will truly make the world a healthier place. Meet in the lobby? I wish... I'm giving this positivity and compassion. I wish you much happiness and success in your careers as osteopathic physicians. I'd like to invite all the attendees here to please join us out in the lobby immediately following the ceremony. And I ask the audience to please remain seated and wait for the procession to march out before you leave your seats. A final comment to the members of the class of 2023. I wish you much happiness and success in your careers. And doctors, 4 years ago, you decided to come to the University of New England College of Osteopathic Medicine. 4 years ago, you decided to join our family. Thank you.